So our boss wants to make a copy of the invoice table for testing purposes. So I'm going to select new query, and I'm going to comment here and enter a little heading of task number 1. And then the code that I need to do this is I need to use the AP database. I'm going to select everything into my new table, which is invoice copy. So it'll copy everything into invoice copy from invoices. So it's going to copy everything that's in invoices into invoice copy. And I'm going to go ahead and run this. And you can see how quickly it copied 114 rows and created all of those columns. So I'm going to go ahead and move my closing comment down. And I am going to save this. And I'm going to call it Chapter 7 Textbook Assignment. So now our boss has decided that instead of including all of the columns that were in invoices, there are specific columns that they would like us to copy instead. And that means we have to basically delete invoice copy or drop invoice copy and create a new one specifying the columns. So we're still using our AP database, and the command that we need to use is drop table. The name of the table is invoice copy. So we'll go ahead and run that, and poof, it is gone. And I'm going to move my closing comment down. So now we have to do another select into, and instead of selecting everything with the asterisk, we are now going to specify the columns that we want. So we're going to say select invoice ID, invoice number, and invoice total into invoice copy. So when you select into, you are creating a table if the table doesn't exist, and we are going to say from invoices. And we're going to go ahead and run that. Still 114 rows, but now we only have 3 columns instead of all of the columns. And just to make sure this works, we're going to do just a normal select to see what's in invoice copy. So now I am going to do a select asterisk from invoice copy. And we do indeed have 3 columns. Now the only problem when you copy from one table and you create a new table using that technique is that it does not create a primary key. It does not copy your keys. So if I refresh, let me see if I can see it first. Oh, there it is, invoice copy. I don't have to refresh. You can see it did not make it the primary key. And we do want invoice ID to be our key. So we are going to have to execute a command to create the key. So let me move my closing comment down. And the command is going to be alter table. And the table we're going to alter is invoice copy. We're going to be adding a constraint. And we're going to give it a name. I'm just going to go PK for primary key underscore ID. And that's what we're naming it. And then we're going to tell it the type of constraint is a primary key. Okay, and then in parentheses, we have to actually tell it the column name. And we're going to go ahead and run this. And if we were to refresh, and expand that out. Now you can see it as a key.